What's another benefit to being one of the only countries in the world with nuclear weapons and ballistic missiles? You get to sell them. In 2001 alone, missile sales totaled $560 million. And more recently, Korean missile sales revenue has estimated to be between $100 and $500 billion a year, allegedly contributing to the arsenals of China, Russia, Egypt, Iran, and Pakistan.
They are the biggest provider to the Middle East. When there's a war, they buy missiles from North Koreans.
Now you can live a pretty great lifestyle with these three revenue streams alone. $7 billion a year from substance trafficking, millions from gun running, $100 to $500 billion a year from selling missiles. But that is not all. Another major revenue stream comes through something totally unexpected, given how old-fashioned people think North Korean technology is. Your computers may look like they were found in a time capsule from the 80s, but somehow, your elite hackers were able to steal more than $1 billion in just the last 4 years. They target banks and cryptocurrency wallets, and even use crypto to launder money, which we covered in another video that I'll link below. For a country without internet, that's not a bad figure at all. Which brings us to our last and possibly most disturbing source of revenue: human labor. As a dictator who controls everything your people believe and know, turning the population of 25 million people into your personal, we'll call them forced laborers, is terrifyingly easy. North Korea is one of the biggest sources around the world for forced labor and other types of labor that would definitely get us demonetized if we talk about them. Keep them in heavily guarded camps in countries like Poland, Russia, and China, where they build statues and infrastructure while you make a comfortable profit. And to prevent them from escaping, you keep their families hostage. Every man sent to these camps must be married and have a family, decreasing the likelihood of someone trying to escape.
They sell their people. They do human trafficking, the regime does. You know, the people in North Korea are like free slaves. And they also, when they go to the foreign place, it's not like they are mingled to that foreign society. They build their own camp.
On the military front, have anyone who's taller than 4 foot 5 inches serve mandatory military service. 10 years if you're a man, 6 years if you're a woman. And while your people are working off their military service, you get to brainwash them even more, making sure they never doubt your supremacy or divinity. As the supreme leader of North Korea, you are the world's foremost example of how a dictator can be a god in the 21st century. If your people don't love you, worship you, adore you, you make sure they fear and hate everyone outside enough to never think about leaving. Those in the West take freedom for granted. Freedom is hard. Freedom requires responsibility. It requires you to think for yourself, to stand on your own 2 feet. So to an extent, there's a part of humanity that naturally wants to be ruled. Maybe Loki was right.
Is this not your natural state? It's the unspoken truth of humanity that you crave subjugation. The bright lure of freedom diminishes your life's joy in a mad scramble for power, for identity. You were made to be ruled. In the end, you will always kneel.
So, you know, being free wasn't like something easy at all. It was so painful. At some point, I thought, like, if someone not gonna kill me and giving me enough food in North Korea, like just keep giving me like frozen potatoes and no one like hurt me, I actually would go back to a place where everything was decided for me. Because, you know, understanding freedom was a responsibility, was scary, right? If I choose to become, let's say, dancer, right? I have to be responsible for that choice for the rest of my life.
Wow.
And that was insanely scary idea. I had to choose.
Unbelievable what you just said.
Yeah, free, you know, being free is not easy. You think it's easy, and it is not. I think that's why a lot of people actually asking for government to be choosing for you, because I can, like, it is only a courageous person be free and onto their own like choice, and you know, take that as like accountability. It is a very hard thing to do.
You know, the way you put it, especially